live. So hello everyone and welcome to the Slam Jam Championship Wrestling Show here on the Extreme Improv, Extremes and Slam Jam channels. So make sure you smash that subscribe button. SummerSlam has happened. The Beast is back, and there's a ton of other things been happening in the world of professional wrestling. I just read a moment ago, breaking news, that Jake Hager is retiring from professional wrestling. We'll get into that. Wasted potential or whatever. We'll find out about that and so much more after we have seen the intro.
Oh, well, yeah. It's the Slam Jam Show. Yes, the Slam Jam Show. Oh, yeah, yeah. It's the Slam Jam Show.
Okay, there we go. I did the exact same thing yesterday on Geek Battle, where I've still got Geek Battle up actually, but I forgot how to. Cause I don't know why, but my brain's completely forgot how to actually stop the credits because I know they go on forever, and I wanted it to be shorter. I was like, how do I switch them off once they're on? But yeah, so let's get on with the show, guys. We've seen SummerSlam. What are your reactions? Is it a win? Is it a loss? Is it somewhere in the middle? For the the first ever 2-night. Did I say slams? We've seen SummerSlam. Yes.
No, you said it right.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I just got Slam Jam on the brain, guys.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Do you want to go first?
No, you go ahead.
Yeah.
Gav?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was a good event. There were some parts that was a bit like, but yeah, on the whole, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I thought it was like fun. Like both nights, I enjoyed different parts of it. Some, like some bits were better than others.
Yeah.
But overall, I think SummerSlam worked as a 2-night event.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I think my biggest takeaway was 2 nights is doable, and I think it creates, seemingly in the city that they're in, it creates a whole sort of holiday vibe that people go for the weekend. Saw a lot of familiar faces in the crowd and familiar signs both nights, which is always a giveaway. Not sure that they should be saying that they've had like 100,000 people in attendance, but they did word it very carefully. That it's.
I was going to say, because if it's the same person, they're not two different people, but it's 100,000 people across both. Right. Yeah, but not different people. I get it. Yeah.
But I enjoyed, as you both did, I enjoyed it. I think almost every match could have had at least 5 minutes taken off it. It would be my overarching nitpick. But I enjoyed something, I think, in every match. I enjoyed Cena's best match for...
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
Cena's... Like, especially as a non-Cena guy, like I really enjoyed it. The ridiculous face turn on SmackDown aside, the match in and of itself, like even just him coming out with the black and white name and then the pop it got when they brought the color in. Yeah. It was like, okay, this is what's been missing for months. Yes. Who'd have thought it?
Okay, so let's quickly just let's start with the end. It's a very good place to start. So John Cena is no longer the world champion. Cody's won it back, and Cody being world champion again to me doesn't actually feel as big news of the fact that Cena has lost it, and then the fact obviously Brock returned, but just Cena is now a face because obviously this happened since the last show. Cena's just came out on SmackDown. It's like, my guys left me and they'd made me something I wasn't. So now I'm just going to be a face again. It was like the clumsiest, just let's just change this right now and I'll just continue being what I was before. Wait, this, I don't know. Is it the clumsiest face or heel turn that anyone's ever seen?
I would say so. Like, so in a previous life, I was a primary school teacher. And so I have experience of like 8-year-olds bringing me a story that they've gone through all this crazy stuff, like loads of magic and all sorts of things. And then the very last sentences, and it was all a dream. And like, I can get 8-year-olds to go, oh yeah, that's not really good, is it? And this is essentially what it feels like they did with the last 5 months of booking. Like, and it was the right decision. Like, I think the match on Sunday sort of pays that out, but the execution of it was just, it was like, in my head, I guess it was Triple H going, nope, like, we're not doing this anymore. Firm cut, like, we're done.
Yeah, because like The Rock isn't turning up, so it's not happening, is it? And then you had the problems with Travis Scott. So
and there's some details. Have you heard like Paul Heyman was on some podcast or something, and he's saying that he doesn't know what happened with The Rock, but he knows that something just fell apart with Travis Scott. And he said that
forward without it or something like that was his phrase, wasn't it?
But he said that like he was in some meetings with him, and he said that they got along well, and things seemed like they were going okay. He said I think there was something that was like, don't know if things could be picked up again, but that was interesting from Heyman after like some point, like a week ago, Drew McIntyre was on a podcast and buried Travis Scott saying, oh, that's shit in our business kind of thing. Like directly, I think Drew McIntyre may have been on Logan Paul's show and directly just said that was bad, right? Paul Heyman played it a lot more diplomatically. So whether or not they'll ever revisit things, but he did say he didn't know what went wrong with The Rock.
Right.
So, to me, the scene, like Cena just not having a Titantron on and just like, I'm going to walk instead of run. It's like, that isn't enough to make you a heel.
No.
Like the weird thing is The Rock, Travis Scott and Cena doing that thing. Everyone compared it to Hogan's turn with the NWO. And that was the exact template. Like, even if The Rock didn't like, I didn't even know who Travis Scott was before he turned up walking down the ring. I was like, who's this guy? And it's like, he's not a wrestler. That was weird.
He did an entrance with Jey Uso, didn't he? Like,
I don't remember,
really,
to be honest.
Really close to it. And he came out smoking a joint.
Oh my God. Was that the same guy?
Yeah,
and then so he came out with Jey Uso as a face. And then he just turned heel.
Yeah.
Oh my, I didn't even realize that was the same guy. But okay, cool. Now, but with The Rock being there, and it's like, oh, so this is the new version of like the NWO idea. All Cena had to do was not just have a black Titantron, he needed to wear black. Now, I can't remember, someone on our show over the last couple of months said that there was a way, maybe it was Dev or I can't remember who it was, said that the whole thing with Bray Wyatt and their match with Cena at WrestleMania, I hate that match. I detest it, right? But there was the stuff in it that did Bray Wyatt get into Cena's mind. Could they call that back up? Was that you that said that, Gav?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go. Right, okay, so that was your idea. And we literally saw John Cena in an NWO shirt.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying they had to call it the NWO, but all they had to do was have him come out with a new look that was like, I'm not doing the jorts and stuff, just something meaner, tougher. And he needed to have a change of attitude where he didn't just like, you people made me the victim. What was this, right? And he just needed to be cocky. And like when the Thugonomics, he would like do his raps and stuff. I'm not saying he had to bring that back. He just had to have like a I'm better than you attitude.
Exactly.
And I swear it would have worked.
And do you know what? even so, I always say the best characters are the ones that don't change anyway. So, like, say for instance, if he still was just Cena himself,
yeah,
but then lean on the Super Cena more, and then it's going to piss people off, isn't it?
Well,
So,
I think that like someone like Becky Lynch, whose heel turn has been maybe divisive. I know that the two of you think maybe not the biggest Becky Lynch.
I'm not a
fan,
Becky fan anymore.
but something that she did, I thought that Cena could have literally used himself, was she started leaning into that Becky Hogan vibe of I'm going to hold you down. Yes, I'm going to do it. Like, and I think as you're saying, Gav, like Cena had that. Well, we don't know what avenue he had open to him or not. And like David, you're saying the parallels that were drawn between his turn and Hogan's turn, and I think those parallels were fair. But I think I mentioned this on the group chat. There's a huge difference between a heel turn and a heel run. And what we got was one of the biggest, genuinely most shocking heel turns
I agree,
of all time. Maybe not bigger than Hogan's, but it's on a very
I'd say it was on par.
Yeah. But the run following on from that has been abysmal. And like the whole thing of him saying, like, you get nothing. Like, this is what you get nothing. It's a fun character quirk, but if you give us nothing, we'll get bored. Like, and I was bored after week 1 or week 2 of him coming out and saying the same old thing.
I said literally after his first promo as a heel, I was like, oh, they've blown it. Right? Everyone was like, oh, he's going to have his bad man theme, which, you know, I think would have worked so that, you know, when that came on, people could have been like, boo, and it would have like come out. And if he'd come out and he was like wearing black, and if The Rock had been there, and even if The Rock hadn't been there, my God, what they've done with Seth. Imagine if they'd just put Braun with him and Braun with him, and he just comes out that he's got these, and the image, basically, you've got just Hall and Nash made Hogan look small. So you've got this guy that was traditionally super now coming out with these two giants, and it would have been like, we're really nasty and we're going to be sarcastic, and oh, I'm going to high five you. No, I'm not, because I'm just doing this for me and stuff like that. And what would have happened is people would have booed and they'd have enjoyed booing. But probably the reason they didn't do it is they're like, people will end up cheering.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing overall, because what people ended up having was, oh, like, our truth is going to make you turn back into the man we want you to be. Oh, code is going to make you turn back into the man we want to be. Oh, because what you're doing isn't working, so now you just turn back.
Just there thinking,
yeah,
was this done to prove a point as well to everyone that you always wanted heel Cena, and I've just shown you it doesn't work?
I mean, if it wasn't his retirement year, then like that would have been a thing. But like they've just soiled his half his retirement year.
Yeah,
I think that's maybe part of why it didn't work as well. Because if they had pulled the trigger on a heel turn even 5 years ago, then there would have been this sort of really broad horizon of where they can go with it. Whereas he's been on these countdown of these dates for months now.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's rocket science to say that they're not going to retire him as a heel. So this always had a very limited shelf life of how much mileage they're going to get with heel Cena. I think this was the latest point at which they could have feasibly turned him back. I wish they'd found a slightly less ham-fisted way of turning him back rather than just bing, I've woken up, guys.
And the other thing is as well, it's because like they don't actually commit anymore to the character. So like he'll be like the heel in front of the TV camera, and then next minute at a press conference, well, not so much the press conference, but like an event for SummerSlam, for instance.
Yeah,
he's walking around and he's playing a face, and he's like,
I'm
not going to spoil it for you guys. And
I'll tell you what, there is one guy that stayed in character leading up to SummerSlam. That was Seth. You know, look at those videos, him out with like his kid walking along the road, and he was on the crutches. You know, good. This is what wrestlers meant to do.
Yeah.
You know, there's like doing that just on these little videos, it's like was it in the 1990s, like in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Jim Cornette got beaten up?
Yeah.
And then on WWE TV, he insisted, I've got to come out in a neck brace.
Yeah.
And then he did interviews on TV in a neck brace to keep it. It's like, I can't then turn up at my hometown, supposedly in a neck brace, if you've seen me running around with Well Done without it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, if you remember, like, was it a year and a half ago, Tony Khan, when the Young Bucks, like, okay, now they completely botched that storyline because it never amounted to anything. But a few days later, when there was like the NFL draft picks or whatever, and Tony Khan turned up in a neck brace, it's like he was just like laughing and joking.
Yeah.
But at least he was in. At least there was a little bit of an attempt.
Yeah.
Exactly. At least he tried. But again, that's an example of where you didn't follow through, and the fact that you didn't follow through, now you kind of just look stupid that you turned up to something serious.
Yeah, and I think it's these Hollywood actors as well, because The Rock's been doing it for. Oh, by the way, I'm not really a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because I don't want my brand to go down. Please still subscribe and pass that money this way, kind of thing. And that's how it comes across. It's just like you're not in character because you think it's going to hurt your brand, kind of thing.
The weird thing with The Rock is the final boss version of himself was born on social media, where he was doing interviews and he was like, "Oh, the Cody crybabies and stuff like this." And then do you remember he did like an epic promo just on Instagram? It was like, and it went on for about 7 minutes,
right?
And obviously, like the world reacted great to it on Instagram and that. And then he came out on SmackDown and did a shortened, but basically line for line the same version of it, because they obviously Triple H or whatever was like, dude, this should have been on TV, not just on Twitter.
Right.
And then you see The Rock be like, "Oh yes, and the final boss is the greatest heel
I'm glad
character."
you're saying that. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, just stick, because people and look, the final boss as a bad guy, people still liked him.
Yeah.
That's all Cena needed to do, and he was aligned with The Rock. That's all he needed to do.
Yeah.
That's all. Hogan didn't even do it because it was Hall and Nash. Because if you've seen like shoot interviews with Hall and Nash, they said that after that initial heel turn of Hogan, when they shot the promos where it's all black and white and like the zooming in and out,
right?
The reason it looks like that is because Hogan stood there and was like, "Well, brothers," and he just did the exact same promo as he always did. And they're like, "We need to edit this to try to make it so that he doesn't come across exactly the same as he did." Whereas Hall and Nash, and then when they brought in Six, which was, X-Pac and Conan, and the people that could carry off the like, "Oh, we're like sarcastic, like douchebags, but you kind of like us." That's what made the NWO got its vibe.
Just a quick one. You just mentioned X-Pac.
Yeah.
I never knew. I only found this out, and maybe I'm just late and slow. I didn't realize 6 was because of 1, 2, and 3 equals 6. I was just like, I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, so the weird thing, and I think this is accurate as well. So he was the kid, or the Lightning Kid. Then he became the 1, 2, 3 kid. 1, 2, 3 adds up to 6, and he was in the Wolf Pack, and then he was X-Pac.
Right.
And I don't know if that's the actual reason, but I don't know what X-Pac or X-Pac means. As
I
they
was
pronounce
thinking, is it because of Tupac? But
well, okay, but I think it was that he was in the Wolf Pack. And then he became X-Pac.
Who knew that Sean Waltman had all this lore behind his behind his character?
Well, okay. So Bret Hart was the first 3-time Hall of Famer because of the Steve Austin match. Yeah. But X-Pac or the 1, 2, 3 kid,
he
should be in the Hall of Fame as an individual.
Definitely.
He was in. He is the guy that was in NWO and D-Generation X, and he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame just as a solo performer.
He was really good in the ring. Look at with the feud with Razor, that match with Raw with Bret.
Underrated is an understatement, I think. For his
if he was like, it's such a different landscape now, but as good as he was back then, if there was someone that seemed like out of the blue that good and that special nowadays, they would have ended up making him like a world champion.
Yeah.
But in those days, just like his build, it was never ever going to happen.
Yeah.
But like Bret Hart showed the world that look, this guy can have the best match on the card with the best, with Bret Hart. So
Exactly.
yeah. Guys, this has been a nice segue. Let's come back a little bit to SummerSlam, because all we've really said about is Cena's heel
Are
turn.
we going to talk about it?
What? I don't know what this means.
Oh, the cable ties.
Oh, you know what, Gav? Like I was just like, I'm done when I saw that.
Like the thing is, like the number one rule, always, again, if I got taught, don't fool the people because you're fooling yourself.
Yeah.
If it comes apart, it comes apart. Leave
Yeah.
it, and then you work around it. So Becky could have beat her up.
Becky could have put it back in. Yeah.
Right.
Put it back in. Yeah.
Yeah. But,
tighten it up or what? Because look, she after when it actually was that she's broke it off, she was left with a mark on her arm.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's like, well, just put it on tighter if it came off.
And she did really well with her arms back. Like
really
I was rooting for that match to be frankly better than it ended up being. But yeah, I thought like her skill to be able to move like that and hit the moves that she did before the hand came out, I thought was great.
Well, after she put it back in, then she was like hitting moonsaults or whatever, and like somewhere out in the ether, Orange Cassidy was with his hands in his pockets, just going like, yes, yes,
But there was, I think my problem with SummerSlam Night 2, like there was match after match after match. We kind of mentioned it on the last Slam Jam actually, that it was lining up this way. Excuse me. Stipulation, and whatever production meeting happened where you've got Becky and Lyra with the cable ties, and then in the very next match you're going to do a handcuff spot with Jacob,
exactly.
Which was rubbish, by the way. Like that was even worse.
It was a nothing move.
And it's just, where was the planning for this?
Well,
this 2-night thing,
Also, no, go ahead, Gav. Go ahead.
I was just about to say, as Assad would say, it was a bloodline rules match every match, wasn't it?
Yeah, every match was bloodline. So the first one literally was Naomi, so it was bloodline rules match because it was the triple threat. Then you have the ladder match, which so they have a world title match first, fine, but then you have a ladder match, so everything's going to be crazy, and we can go into the specifics. And I said at the time, it's like, what? And then you're just putting the women's intercontinental title no DQ match. It's like, how can that follow the ladder match and any of the no DQ stuff that they weren't put in a fair spot? And I've got it here. That match was 25 minutes long.
That was way too long.
Yeah. You said about shave 5 minutes off, shave 10 minutes
20.
off that.
Right.
Shave 20 minutes off that. Yeah, exactly.
I think the only sub 10-minute matches were Cross and Sammy, which thank goodness that wasn't any longer, and Tiffy and Jade, and I would say the same thing for that match too. But
Seth and Punk was less than 10 minutes.
I stand corrected. that was significantly shorter.
Yeah.
There seems to be this thing, particularly with WWE pay-per-views at the moment, of like long match equals good match, and you can tell a great story in 5 minutes. You can look at some of those Goldberg Brock matches. I can't even believe I'm saying it. Like,
that's fair.
It's not about the time you give it. It's about what you do with that time.
See, it's a weird thing because obviously we're in the Triple H era, whereas when you look back to the Vince era, that wasn't how things ran.
Right.
And so now you have a lot less matches on there, and they do last a lot longer. And I completely agree. It's the idea that each one will be this little epic thing. But when you look at AEW, they've kind of done the same thing in this.
Right.
So many of their matches run a lot longer than and have too much in it. Right. So the difference between AEW and WWE is AEW match will have like 50 spots, whereas WWE will still go down the route of we'll have one pile driver and act as if it's a devastating thing, but then they'll draw a lot out of it. And I'd say, generally speaking, prefer the logic of the WWE stuff compared to, because every AEW match is like a fireworks display.
Yeah.
Like this boom, 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 boom.
You know, everyone's kicking out of everything.
Well, exactly. But the main difference at the moment between AEW and WWE in terms of the long matches is that WWE will have like 5 or 6 matches on a card. AEW will have like 12 matches on a card that will each last 18 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, and there is a sense of stuff being overkill. You do need that variety of, well, this match is like the fireworks display, like the 6-pack tables, ladders, and chairs match. Then you need to have, this is where, again, night one, they should have, after the ladder match, they should have then had Karrion Kross and Sammy doing 7 minutes or whatever they did. And then you could have had, well, no, the steel cage match just shouldn't have been on the same show as the ladder match, you know, and stuff like this. And they should have mixed it up. They should have
palate cleansers.
Like, absolutely.
They have such a deep roster, and there'd be people that could get a payday. I don't know if this contracts even still work that way of like having a pay-per-view payday, but you could give some genuinely underutilized talent.
Exactly.
Put a little squash match in there. Put a little funny little gimmick match in
exactly.
there.
You need a let me up, and there's no let me up at all. No.
Yeah. Do you know what? Like, you say about like put a squash match in there. Do you remember? It's like years ago now. But do you remember when they first brought in Ryback and they'd actually have like jobbers there, and there'd be like
amazing run.
It was like, but it was so it was so different, and it was like, well, Ryback's just going to destroy him. We know what the result was going to be, but because it allowed someone to be so dominant, it's like, wow, I haven't seen a jobber match since Superstars ended or whatever it was, like in 1998.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true. You do need variety in there. Okay, so guys, let's deal with. Last week we dealt with controversy in terms of Hulk Hogan.
Well, I wouldn't go for a quiet week.
Yeah, exactly. Well, will we get a quiet week? Did you see that weird thing about the cloud? So I think we put it in the chat. That is weird, isn't it? That's weird. Crazy. Yeah, that is freaky. That there was it looks like Hulk Hogan in the sky doing his classic pose. That was
a
weird.
Really cool moment for those people who were there.
Well, yeah, freaky moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so the controversial topic of the week. Well, actually, we can also get onto, like, we're in the UK, so it's on Netflix. We don't have to pay for the pay-per-view, but there's that whole thing about they got to spend a lot more in America now. But the truly controversial topic of discussion is Brock is back, which I kind of expected it eventually because they never took him off the roster page.
No.
So obviously, in terms of like the whole Vince McMahon lawsuit and everything, they obviously think that Brock isn't going to be a significant factor in this. I'm not really going to pass specific comment on that because I always think like the law will take its course kind of thing, you know, and he's been off TV for God knows how long, a couple of years, it feels like. And so if there isn't any reason that he can't be on TV, then he can be on TV. Taking someone, and the thing which would be a shame is if they took someone off TV for that length of time and then it turned out, oh, he didn't ever need to be off TV. Right. But at the same time, they have to go through whatever processes they do.
Yeah. Right.
And I think that for whether or not they say that he's done anything wrong, his name's always going to be linked to this.
Just 44 times.
44 times, which is insane. So WWE will either weather the storm, and it seemed like he got a strong reaction coming back, or it won't work out, and once he's wrestled Cena, they'll probably disappear him again. But what's anyone's reactions to Brock coming back as a heel, I guess, now that Cena's a face?
On the political side too much, but only from what I've read. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying from what I've read.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's done anything himself.
Exactly.
Vince trying to set things up, but I don't think he himself
Well, exactly. So, like, Gab's like, this is where people would get like cross on Twitter or whatever. But the fact is, this is where you let the legal people do their thing, and they'll get the result. The fact is, you know, he is back, and he's going to be, I guess, wrestling John Cena at the next pay-per-view. So it's weird because you bring Brock back, and the crowd went crazy, which doesn't mean that he's necessarily a face, because people they're surprised, whether they're pleased or whatever. The shock of someone returning, it gets a reaction. But they do that, and he gets all this cheering just after you've turned Cena face. So it's like, this is where you could have left Cena as a heel, and then the person returning gets the big reaction. Or if they're worried about Brock getting backlash, you turn Cena face, and then when they're booing him, they're like, "Well, he's a heel. That's what we intended."
I think you've hit the nail on the head with the last thing you said, and we don't want to get too into the weeds of what he did or didn't do. I personally think that there's a legal argument which, okay, he hasn't broken the law by all accounts, but I would like to think that if I was running an operation like that I would hold people to a certain standard, ethically, in terms of how they behave. We ultimately we don't know, so I think it's pretty grim. I'll just leave it at that. As far as the fiction of it goes and the creative of it goes, I was just kind of meh anyway. Like I think I'm over Brock as a character, regardless of all the other stuff that kind of turns your stomach. We've seen it all at this point.
Exactly that. Yeah.
There is one thing we didn't see that we might have saw, and that's Gunther. Gunther and Brock, I think, is the last interesting match that we never saw a version of.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Sorry, go ahead.
What about Brock and Randy again? Now that Randy, he's pretty big now, isn't he?
Yeah, like, so Brock's obviously a heel. Who knows how much they'll do? Because since he returned like 10, 12 years ago, he's only had like probably less than 100 matches anyway, or probably less than 50 matches. You could at some point, if you want to build up to Brock at WrestleMania, it could be Gunther, or you could put Bron Breakker in there against him and make Bron Breakker, I guess. There's a few options, I guess.
Right. And they've got next year's SummerSlam. I think it's going to be 2 nights going forward now. Is in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is obviously his home town.
Oh, there you go then. So, that probably explains some of it.
He might retire. You never know.
Yeah, I think that would be for the best.
Well, and here's the interesting thing, just with Brock Lesnar as a wrestler and Brock Lesnar as like a person. I never looked at Brock Lesnar and thought, I wish I knew him in real life. He seems like a nice guy. He comes across like his character, which is like a nasty, like mean, scary human being, basically. So then
he wants you to believe as well.
Okay, but I'm sure he does want you to believe that. But is there anything about him that doesn't come across as if you've got Biff from Back to the Future and injected him with like some mutant steroids and turned him into like a werewolf?
It's like if you hear like all the other people talk about him backstage, they're always like, Brock doesn't want us to say this, but he is a really nice guy, really.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I've heard that. But obviously, there's not being nice guys, and then there's other things that don't make you that nice as well. Yeah. So
I think the narrative that I really didn't like, trying to keep in the fiction because I don't want to get onto anything else.
Yeah, of course.
The commentators saying on Raw, like, we, like, Triple H and Nick Khan had a meeting and we decided it was time for Brock to come home.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, this is not some feel good welcome home, Brock.
Yeah.
He's on the show, like, not giving a shit and saying to Paul Heyman, like, why would I watch this? I don't in character in the story saying, why would I watch the show? Yeah. So that where's that narrative coming from, other than them trying to get ahead of the backlash that
I think that's it. I think they're just trying to get ahead of it, and they'll they'll make a plan that either things work out with Cena, or if they don't, then they'll write him off, because again, he's not a character that has to be on there every week. They could you could not see him again for 3 months after it, and then they'll weather it basically. Okay, let's come on to a few of the other things from SummerSlam. So something that was quite a short match was AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio. But yeah, that was loads of fun.
That was good.
Some of the callbacks. It's like, so AJ Styles was for some reason dressed as Eddie Guerrero, right?
Yeah, and he cut off.
Yeah, and so there was all these callbacks because obviously it was the anniversary of Dom's SummerSlam debut, I guess.
Well, what I love this for Dominic is that he's now referring to himself as a 20-year veteran.
Yeah,
right.
I think it's incredible, Patty. That's great character.
Yeah, no, Dominic Mysterio, he is someone that needs to be a world champion within the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
they could really push him. He has all of the personality of Eddie Guerrero in there. Yeah. And I don't think we're still scratching the surface of it.
Yeah, he's still got a little while to go, but yeah.
Oh yeah, he's not there in the in the ring as much as his dad, obviously.
Come a long way though. In the ring, mechanically.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, when he first came in as an active wrestler and Brock was just destroying him and stuff like this. Yeah. And I was like, this guy's really tall compared to his dad. He's not going to be able to do any of his stuff. No. He can do some stuff.
Yeah.
He does a 619. He does a frog splash. He can do enough. Oh, hang on. The voice of reason has literally just emerged.
Are we going to see you?
Probably not. OMG Assad, sir. Are you there? If he does this thing, which he did once before, where he just never comes online.
He's going to change it to Brock, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Hey, guys.
Hello. How you doing, Assad?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Okay, so we are live on the air, Assad. So we were just talking about SummerSlam. I know you saw the show. Is there, because we've bounced around various parts of it, I'll just come to you and say, is there anything in particular from SummerSlam or from anything that was on your mind to discuss?
No, I mean, I guess you guys covered everything that needed to be covered, and I'm glad that you guys did.
Well, thanks for coming on the show, Assad. That was Assad, everyone.
No, but yeah, I have to say that even though the whole Seth Rollins thing was, there was this big question mark, whether it's a work, whether it's real. But the moment it was revealed, it was incredible. I loved every single second of it. The way those crutches went flying, I loved it. And I wasn't expecting, things you do expect, but when it happens for real, that's when it really hits you. So, especially the Paul Heyman turn as well. People predicted that he might join Seth Rollins and he's going to betray, Roman Reigns. But he ended up betraying both CM Punk and Roman Reigns. And then he joined Seth Rollins. Everyone predicted that, I think. But the way it went down, when it actually happened, that is when it really, really hits us. And that's exactly what happened at, SummerSlam. So it was really great.
Would you know what?
As far as night 2 is concerned, everyone speculated that there's going to be a double turn, and we're going to get heel Cody Rhodes, we're going to get a proper babyface John Cena, or the whole thing John Cena is trolling and The Rock is going to return and all that shit. But we had a great match. I wasn't expecting them to have such a great match. It was really good, and everyone looked really good in that match, including John Cena, even though he lost. And then, Brock Lesnar returned, and it was I really like this thing that they are doing, that they are not feeding, any Tom, Dick, and Harry to John Cena. His farewell tour has so much weight and value that only the senior wrestlers Only the experienced wrestlers like CM Punk, Randy Orton, R-Truth, uh, Cody Rhodes. Even Cody Rhodes is a 20-year veteran. Can you believe that? The point
Cody
is,
is.
Yeah.
yeah, of course he is.
Guess so.
The thing is that I love this, that nobody gets, John Cena is at that level where you gotta be a certain someone to be in the ring with him, and then you get someone like Brock Lesnar, and it just keeps getting better, and people argue all the time that, oh my god, we've seen these rivalries, rehashing the old stuff again. Fuck you, dude. This is just what it's exactly supposed to be. It is supposed to be this way. I need to watch all those matches again because I'm never going to watch those matches again in my life ever.
It's
you
a
know
farewell tour and it's
I
for his
pray
friends.
that there's some way that I get Edge versus John Cena as well, or John Cena versus fucking Batista as well. I don't give a fuck, you know. So I wish those matches happen. So yeah, that's
Okay,
my
so
take.
Assad, let me quickly ask you then. So he started with, as soon as he won the world title, he started with Orton. We
Yeah,
got our truth along the way.
yeah,
We had CM Punk along the way. We've
yeah,
had Cody again, and Cody is his newest rival from within
yeah,
this.
yeah,
Now Brock is back, and it's SummerSlam.
yeah,
He's retiring. So the weird thing is that he said he's retiring in December. So it's not even
yeah,
at Survivor Series. So whatever, December this year is going to be a huge moment in WWE with Cena's retirement match. If
yeah.
he's run all of these people back, is it just going to be Cena putting over Austin Theory, or who is left? Who
Yeah, so
is left?
that's exactly my point. So he goes through all of the people that he has been through, and then the whole thing comes full circle, wherein John Cena does what Kurt Angle did for him. You know,
I
so
think
in
you've got his
December.
opponent there.
Yes, so like in
At Gable.
December, the Saturday night's main event, John Cena does not have an opponent. He goes out there in his hometown and he announces an open challenge. Okay, and anybody in the locker room can come out, and whoever that person may be, Austin Theory, Carmelo Hayes, or I mean Oba Femi from NXT. I don't care, but it could be anyone who is the next potential top star. They answer the challenge and they redo the exact same thing. John Cena puts them over, and after the end of the match, where that person has defeated John Cena in his retirement match, John Cena finally says, "My time is over. Your time is now."
Yeah. I mean, it's good, but so the big question is, like, who do they do that to? Because, like, that sounds great, except for the difference with Kurt Angle is Kurt Angle, that was nowhere near his retirement. I
Yeah,
still want Kurt Angle to come back and like put
I mean the
robotic
best part.
gear on
I
him,
think the best
bionic
part
this,
would be.
just have
I
that
think the
last
best
match.
part. I think the best part would be John Cena and Kurt Angle both having their retirement match, because what the
Yes,
fuck was Kurt Angle's retirement match anyway?
Baron Corbin, exactly.
Yeah.
Although, isn't he now doing boxing or MMA or something?
What,
Who
Baron
gives a
Corbin?
shit?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to look this up.
Didn't he used to
I'm
do
not
that?
actually, to be honest. It's Baron Corbin. Who cares?
What about
But
Y2J?
Jericho.
Hmm.
I think
If we want
genuinely,
to just
I think
continue to run
genuinely
with like controversial people,
there are only three potential opponents for John Cena. That I foresee. One obviously is Brock Lesnar at, I think, Clash of Paris.
yeah.
I think Clash in Paris. Then I think there is the Survivor Series, right? Next coming up at Survivor.
Would that be next, or is there sunk in between? It's
Oh,
August,
must be
September,
There'll
October.
be
That would be
something
November.
in. Is it a bad
Yeah,
blood or something?
something.
something like that.
So the next three opponents that I see, and again the whole senior wrestler thing where he needs to go, go in when he has actually been in the ring with. So I would suppose, I guess, AJ Styles. Uh, but I don't see anyone or there's the last possibility is Rey Mysterio. But other than this one, I don't see anybody else on the roster who is a senior wrestler. We have AJ Styles, we have Rey Mysterio, and we also have Shinsuke Nakamura, by the way. That's it.
Shinsuke's done. Shinsuke
Yeah.
is past. Like
Yeah.
I'd like to see Gunther at least at some point.
Well, he
I'd
just
like to see him
retires
start-
people.
I'd love it. I would love
Yeah.
it. Yeah. He could do Cena and then retire Lesnar. Like just keep
Yeah.
adding to this list of
Yeah,
legends.
that would make
that-
sense.
I
That would
retire.
sense.
Oh my god! So hang on, let's just come on to that. So Bret Hart has come out this week. You know,
Oh
he's
my
saying a lot of
God.
stuff. Like
Old
Hulk
man
Hogan
yells
passed
at
away.
crowd.
Hulk Hogan passed away, and people, there's, you know, it's very heated with how people react to that. But Bret Hart was very quick to, well, you know, Hulk never looks out for anyone except for Hulk anyway. It's like, Jesus, it's like, you know, you couldn't even, as a fellow wrestler, drop your bitterness for a second. But then he's just like, so this kid Gunther, I looked at him in the face and said, this is bullshit, right? And he's like, you're actually hurting people with these chops and that. And so I was like, yeah. So Gunther's favorite wrestler, Bret Hart, is a close second to his actual favorite wrestler, Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg.
I'm
I'm trying to find.
I
had a
love this
list
whole
of.
narrative where Bret Hart thinks that everybody has hurt him except Bret Hart hurting himself. You know,
Like, yeah,
everybody.
there's an ironic thing to it, actually. So Bret Hart now has said, Gunther, it's bullshit. You know, you chop people and it really hurts. And he said that Bill Goldberg retired him. Whereas we just saw Gunther chop Bill Goldberg and he laughed it off. What does that tell us? This whole time, the retirement, it was just that Bret couldn't hack it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And of course I'm joking.
What an odd hill for him to choose to die on as well. Like because of the chops.
Yeah.
Because like everything else that I see about Gunther, he genuinely seems like one of the safer people. And he's carried Jey Uso to Jey Uso's better single matches. He carried Goldberg to his best singles match for a long time, and arguably carried CM Punk at the age that he is, and the physical limitations that Punk now has. Like he's on a hell of a run, is Gunther, of bringing people out into their best matches.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So it was just a bit bizarre.
One more thing. I loved how Gunther sold the blade job, by the way.
Incredible selling.
Incredible stuff. I mean, he made that look as if he was genuinely hurt. Like, holy shit, I've never seen someone sell a blade job that way.
And I think that's something that's really to Gunther's strength as a character, because he presents such an invincible aura. But twice now he's shown, if he was in a video game, there'd be glowing weak spots. Like he's this badass with a massive health bar that you can't kill. But if you get him in a submission like Jey Uso did, he might panic and tap. If you bust him open, he's going to totally freak out. Like I think you're right, Assad. Incredible selling.
Yeah. Yeah, he can be the guy where he doesn't know how to react or behave in vulnerable situations. So he just panic taps out, like you said, Ian, and he just oh my god, he goes crazy when he's busted wide open. Holy shit! I love this angle. I love this. Yes. Also, another thing that I wanted to mention: the TLC match at SummerSlam was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Like genuinely the worst thing. I don't know. I don't know. Just this whole match seemed extremely off and shabby to me.
What match was this, Assad? Sorry, I was
the
my
TLC.
attention.
The TLC match.
Cage match, yeah.
TLC, I think
the TLC match.
TLC. Oh, the cage. Oh my god, yeah. The TLC match was fun, but the timing was horrific.
I liked it apart from the amount of time they seem to be waiting at the top of the ladders. Like I mentioned Penta a few months back with Money in the Bank, but there's a point where DIY are up the ladder, or was it Candice was up the ladder or something? That spot in particular, it seemed to take genuinely about 10
Did she
minutes
survive that bump as well? Because that was almost
part of
Flop Dollar's nut shot thing.
Cracked it with her knee, I think.
Exactly. It's like, did her leg come off?
I loved Johnny Gargano, his reaction to that moment of him going, "You good?" to his wife before going, I've got to go and get the belts, but you good?
Yeah. And the whole spot where Tommaso Ciampa does that thing where he curls up and the Hardy Boys spot goes absolutely. Yeah, I love that. But he was just awkwardly up there for a really long time. And then didn't know what to do after that. Didn't know what the fuck to do after that.
You know what? Like, I don't know why this just popped into my head. Right, the best thing that could have possibly happened when he went upside down is if his trunks had caught on like the hook, and then he was just dangling there. Because I'll tell you this, guys, this is completely unrelated to wrestling. I will never find this because this was 5 years ago since I saw it. But I saw a criminal try to. Have you seen this stuff? Where he tries to go over a fence and his trousers catch and he ends up hanging upside down and his pants just slowly and he slides out of it. And it's just like, it's like, you shouldn't laugh, but it's like the funniest thing. Imagine if that had happened to Tommaso Ciampa as he's hanging up there.
It makes me think of, I think in one of Mick Foley's books, he tells a story about him and Al Snow, who were always ribbing each other and always trying to pop each other in the ring. And so he tells a story where he gets Al Snow in a vertical suplex position, stalls it, so he's holding him up there, and then he just grabs his tights and pulls it to the side, and he calls it the penis suplex. And so he just had Al Snow up there, everything hanging out, and then dropped him. Like, oh my god! So there is precedent there, wrestling wise.
I was going to say, I just sent you I've put it in the group chat, the remaining dates for John Cena.
Oh, okay, let's take a look. So what do we got? Oh, I can't read it. Hang on.
Are there any wrestlers?
Oh, it's a bit blurry. I can't read that at all.
Yeah, let me see.
Are there any wrestlers in AEW that are good enough opponents for John Cena?
In AEW? That's a good question. Yeah. I mean, like, okay, let me put it like this. If MJF was in WWE, he would be someone that could have like John Cena's last match because they'd be able to be on fire on promos. Like MJF has called off so much since the whole angle with Adam Cole a couple of years ago. But he could have been an absolute superstar in WWE, and he'd be someone. Imagine him just being like, I retired John Cena and stuff like this. Oh my God, CM Punk's words are just coming back to me. They're not going to give this to The Miz, are they?
Oh,
John Cena and The Miz. Are they going to run that back at any point?
Absolutely, absolutely. They should definitely do a John Cena versus Miz as well. I mean, why not? He's a senior fucking wrestler. What is wrong with you guys?
Well,
he's a great wrestler.
Because he's only senior because he's been there so long. I'm not a big Miz guy. Like I accept that he exists now, but I've never been convinced of his character or any such idea of ability in the ring. If he look, if you go back in time to the 80s, he could have been sort of like a heel in the mid card, kind of like a model Rick Martel kind of thing. And Rick Martel would have out wrestled the Miz 1,000 times over, but it was kind of that level mid card douchebag. Yeah, exactly.
Terry Taylor.
Sure, but you don't really have to be a great wrestler to be a good wrestler, right? I mean, he was amazing on the mic. Mike the Miz was amazing on the mic. He still is.
It didn't work for me.
He did one good talking smack promo.
Yeah.
However many years ago.
With Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
I agree.
He just reads his Wikipedia page.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's have a quick look at the AEW roster. If any of these could have one more match with Cena or one match with Cena, anyone jump out to you?
I don't know half of these people.
Billy Gunn! He's a senior wrestler. I think Billy Gunn should retire him.
Go down.
For sure, senior.
Right there.
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Edge.
I wouldn't actually want to see that.
I'm not bothered about that.
I'm not bothered about that, like, personally. Jack Perry should be the man to retire him.
So we are talking about the actual rivalries that John Cena has had.
Oh, hang on. Assad first and then Ian.
I was saying that we are talking about actual people that John Cena has been in the ring with before and has had rivalries with.
I'm sure he's like, he must have wrestled MVP. And going by the news reports in the last day, MVP's got himself into some hot water backstage.
But wasn't that from what he was there talking about WWE? No.
Oh, Big Show.
No,
Big Show.
apparently MVP, like, and I don't blame him, right? I agree with MVP on this front. He was like, no, the Hurt Syndicate shouldn't lose the belts to FTR. He was like, we should put over a young team. But he also said, Bobby Lashley is a world champion. Why is he just now a tag team guy?
Yeah,
1,000%. Like, I don't know how WWE dropped the way they dropped the ball on the Hurt business was they split up MVP of now I've got to destroy Bobby Lashley with Omos or whoever, and it didn't work, right? You could have just added Omos to that team as I'm going to stand here in the back and destroy people, and that would have been the great role for a guy that size. But after that, then they were like, oh, we'll put them back together, and then we kind of won't. And they fumbled it completely. In AEW, bringing them in as a tag team, like, and then adding MJF to it, and I think literally this week it's now that, oh, he's out of the Hurt Syndicate. It's like he should have never been in the Hurt Syndicate. MJF didn't need it, and the Hurt Syndicate didn't need MJF standing at the front as this part that didn't fit, that isn't historically with the faction, when the focus should have been on Lashley going after the world title, or even if you wanted to, they could have put Shelton Benjamin going for a world or even a Ring of Honor world championship, because wasn't Benjamin in Ring of Honor for years as well. You could have put both of them going for world titles.
God knows.
And then it's like, yeah, but like Tony Khan did what Tony Khan always does, where he gets some ex-WWE guys, pushes them for the first week, and then, oh, I don't know what to do with them thereafter. But the one thing I will say is MVP probably is now regretting that he probably was like, screw Triple H or whatever, you know, but because it's like, well, if you're in hot water here.
I think they are also in. I think the roster is frustrated with them because they don't, want to lose to, I think I read
but they
something.
think that they want to put over like the Outrunners or Private Party or something. He said, we don't want to put over FTR. Let's put over a team and make the team. You know, I agree with him.
But this is what I read is that they are supposed to be heels. But after their matches, they were, giving high fives to the fans and, being all babyface in front of the fans. So
yeah,
that was really frustrating that was really frustrating among the roster as well. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, we can go for a few more minutes. I don't know why, but it feels like we haven't covered most of SummerSlam. One thing I just want to jump on here whilst we're still here.
You don't say, because SummerSlam was fucking 2 nights. Of course, we haven't covered all of SummerSlam.
We haven't even. We should get on to CM Punk in a second, but apparently here, let's bring up the news headline, because I mentioned it at the start of the show, and I have this terrible habit of putting something like in the title of the show. Do you know what? We've just covered the Hurt Syndicate. Brock, we've covered SummerSlam. Okay, we're doing good. But I said at the start of the show that I'd just seen that Jake Hager is getting out of wrestling. It's like he hasn't been in wrestling since he was in WWE, because his time in AEW was just kind of wearing a hat.
I was going to say it became all about hat stuff.
Yeah. Started a trucking company. That doesn't surprise. Why does that not surprise me at all? It feels like he should be running a truck company. Wow.
That's an all American job.
Yeah. he is. Is there a better example of someone that should have never have been world champion than Jake Hager?
Del Rio.
Do you know what though? Del Rio, all of the personal stuff is what makes him seem like, oh, they did that.
No, I don't know. I think he's like, I would literally put them here in terms of how bland they were and how boring I found them, both character and in the ring.
Oh, but at least the only credit I'll give to Rio, which I don't do often, is that when he'd come out, he had the air of I'm rich and I'm looking down on you. Yeah. Hager, he looked clumsy. I don't want to mock a guy if he had like a speech impediment, but he couldn't talk at all.
Well,
The only
I think
thing that got
Cody
over-
is
Yeah, go
has
on.
Cody has misproven that whole thing because Cody has a list.
Oh, the speech. Yeah,
And-
no one had
and,
more of a
like-
speech impediment than Dusty Rhodes, though.
Yeah.
Like Dusty Rhodes has got like such a unique voice.
Mm.
So I wasn't trying to get at anyone saying that, but like
Someone.
he sounded, you know, he didn't. You couldn't take it quite serious because of it,
Mhm.
and also what he said, his delivery across the board was bad. Whereas Cody, he took acting classes. He worked on his presentation. But yeah, like with Del Rio, you could believe he'd come out with the scarf on or whatever, and you could feel like I dislike this guy, right? Hager, he just came out, he was lumbering. The only thing that ever got over was when Dutch Mantel would say, "We the people," and then as soon as he turned up in AEW, if you remember, the fans started chanting, "We the people," and Jericho was like, "That was bad creative," and you could just see Hager's head going like, "I've just put this onto my theme tune. Don't do that. It's the only thing I've got for t-shirts." Right. And he was done from that moment onwards.
Yeah.
Coming back to
I have a
SummerSlam, CM Punk, world champion in
You asked a
WWE.
question. You asked a question. The who should have never been world champion?
Yes, go for it.
Jey Uso.
Yes.
And and I think Jinder Mahal as well.
Yes.
Yeah. It was unfortunate with him because they didn't stick to it, because he was meant to be getting the match with Brock, and they were
Yeah.
just like, this isn't working. And actually, it wasn't as much like we've seen as babyface turn. That was so out the blue, but there was nothing actually more out the blue than that they're putting on posters Jinder versus Brock, and then you could just hear Vince being like, "This doesn't work. Get in AJ," and like he dropped the belt. So unexpected was it? Wasn't that the time when AJ won the world title in England?
In England, yeah.
Yeah, that never happened before.
Yeah.
World title never changed changed hands here, and they put it on AJ just so they could put AJ versus Brock, and then until they brought in Jinder at the beginning of last year, so he could stand in the ring with The Rock, just so they could do the joke of a former world champion.
Yeah.
And then people were like, "Oh, Jinder's coming back. Don't hinder the Jinder." And then they instantly fired him.
Yeah.
So they never gave him a chance to put right and get over. But yeah, so
As an Indian, as an Indian, I think it's the best thing that they did with Jinder Mahal. Nobody gave a fuck about Jinder Mahal in India, just by the way. Like,
Wow.
absolutely nobody.
Wow.
Yeah.
In fact, he in my city, he was doing a wrestling show, the first wrestling show my city has ever seen, and he was the headliner. Nobody gave a fuck about that either.
It's interesting how wrestling so often misses the chances. So, okay, so let me ask you, Assad, is there like a wrestler, whether they've been in WWE or any other like major worldwide promotion, like an Indian wrestler who they should have put their money on?
An Indian wrestler. Wow.
Yeah, because like Sonjay Dutt, he was a cruiserweight though, but he was like obviously really good, and he's still in AEW. But is there anyone that should? Because like for English people, we'll still be like, well, British Bulldog should have been world champion, and that was like so many years ago.
Carly had a run, didn't he? I guess.
Yeah.
Khali had a run, but it was long after he was actually able to move around.
Right.
Khali used to move around like an absolute maniac. By the way, he was agile, and he was he's a freak of nature, by the way. And then they roped him in quite late. But I think Khali is the closest that you can get to a real top level guy from India who can be a main eventer as well.
He had
And
that
people
Andre the
still-
Giant kind of vibe.
yeah,
didn't he?
yeah.
Yeah.
People
In my
still-
opinion,
people
if
still
Carl- Go ahead.
absolutely give a shit. People still absolutely give a shit about the Great Khali. People
Yeah.
know who the Great Khali is. If he goes to an event, people go over there to see him. He has a great pull. So there's that.
Okay, so the thing I'll say on Great Khali, because I know that people, and I've said this so many times before, people were like, oh, he shouldn't have beaten the Undertaker and stuff like this. Now, the Undertaker is someone on the roster that could stand up against Great Khali. But in my opinion, if Great Khali genuinely wanted to be world champion right now, he'd still be world champion right now.
Exactly.
And the evidence I always point to is when there was the Punjabi prison match with Jinder Mahal, and Khali was like, I'm going to pose with a belt. Jinder Mahal was just stood like this. And he was sort of like, like this.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do against the Great Khali? See, look, if I was booking wrestling, I would always be like, oh, Daniel Bryan's so good, and Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. But realistically, I'd be like, the world title lineage would have gone from Hogan to Yokozuna. It would have stayed on Yokozuna until the Big Show turned up. And then somewhere along the line, you might have had like Mark Henry beat the Big Show. And then somewhere after that, you might be like, well, the Great Khali's here now. And it would probably be on Omos. And I'd be like, yeah. They could beat everyone up, and I believe it. And that's it.
It's true.
Yeah, it's true.
I have a fun fact. I have a fun fact for you guys. So you all know this show called Big Brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we invented it.
There is an Indian version of the show called Big Boss.
Oh.
Okay. And it's I think for the last 15 years or so it has been running. Great Khali was a contestant locked inside the house, Big Boss. Okay. And that season of Big Boss is the highest rated season of all time.
Oh, wow.
For two particular reasons. One is that Great Khali had a custom sized bed and a custom sized toilet that only he could use. Nobody else in the house.
For everyone
was allowed
else,
to
it was
use.
the sauna. It was like
Everybody else is following the normal, regular routine toilets and beds, and Great Khali has his own thing. And Great Khali had, because all the idea is to have a budget in the house and use that budget to cook all the food, etc. So that's the whole bullshit. Great Khali has his own budget to eat whatever the fuck he wants to. And the guy is ordering like 200 eggs for breakfast. And it was insane because people saw him eat 200 eggs for breakfast. How the fuck do you eat 200 eggs for breakfast? How is that even possible? Insane. And
I bet he needed that toilet afterwards.
Right?
Yeah.
People saw him live a life because that was like genuinely into the life of Khali. The amount of food that he eats, it's insane. How do you eat that? How the fuck is it even possible?
It's like the stories you'd hear about Andre, where it'd be like he'd have 35 beers in an evening, and it feels like no, he didn't. But yeah, these guys can.
These guys can. I mean, it's insane. Khali used to have 15 chickens in one sitting. 15 chickens. How 15 chickens?
Actually, well, who was it? I think it was a story about Yokozuna, who in the mid 90s got sent basically to like rehab, but not fat camp. But you know what I'm saying? Like weight loss place, and he'd have people go out and like sneak him in buckets of KFC and stuff like this. So it never, it's not funny for the fact that obviously he had major problems, but it's just like the volume. If you remember that like 1993 like Coliseum video thing where it just shows Yokozuna eating, and it's insane. Okay, guys, let's quickly come back to SummerSlam. CM Punk, world champion in WWE in 2025. Seth obviously cashed in. We've touched on slightly, but the ruse of the century, I think it was played brilliantly. But let's talk Punk, Gunther, Punk champion, Seth, whatever you want. Let's go for it.
We called it.
We did.
Yeah. And it turned out really good. Turned out better than I expected. Yeah. So.
I think that it was, when you compare it to the Carnage of Night 2, the pacing of it was slow, deliberately so, I think. And I don't know if it was just because I like Punk, I love Gunther, so I was already invested. I was already here for it. But I thought it was the best kind of slow burn. And much to Bret Hart's chagrin, all those chops were just like, everyone was like, no, sit down. Like I could almost hear him calling him an old man as he was doing it. Like, you're not on this level anymore. And as Asad has already mentioned, the blade job, perfect, like wonderfully sold. I thought the cash in was really good. I think we all kind of called, as you said, Gav, we called it that there was going to be a cash in. We all kind of knew this injury was a work. I don't think necessarily predictable is a bad thing because, as you've said, Asad, it played out really, really well. My only wish is that they had taken the briefcase off TV for the last 3 weeks because it was always there. They were literally shoving it in our faces. I think if they'd have played it longer, if they'd have had the idea a month ago, like previously, and actually play out that who knows when Seth's going to be back. Otherwise, I thought it was really good.
Can I just say, like, my one thought of like something that is a flaw or a problem in that whole ruse? Seth, so he fakes this injury. He then allows himself just to get beat by LA Knight. Why would he do that?
To play into it.
Well, so you purposely eat a loss to LA Knight?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess on Raw, LA Knight then gets a match.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that I think didn't sit with me.
It shows how crazy and how committed he is to it. That's
I guess so. I guess.
I feel like in the booking of the work shoot thing, I feel for LA Knight because are you telling me he was never on the whiteboard for SummerSlam?
Wow.
I did feel for him.
LA Knight is the anomaly that obviously Vince made him Max Dupree. Triple H has listened to the fans and be like, well, we'll give you LA Knight. You want LA Knight. But I still think it's a case that Triple H isn't invested in LA Knight to be a world champion.
No.
It's the last few years with the ginormous reign by Roman as like world champion, and then a year-long reign by Cody, introducing a second world title along the way. And it's obviously they were like, right, so we're going to put it on Gunther, which means it's going to be a long reign. When we take it off, we're putting it on Uso, which I don't 100%. Maybe the reason they took it off is because they knew that they were going to do some plans like they've done with Seth, like they did with Punk and stuff like this. And so like, we'll have to take it off Uso for now, but we'll come back to you. I don't know where in the mix of this LA Knight gets either world title.
I don't see him as a world title guy. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think they need to put him in the division that he belongs in and then feature him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to get really bit of stick for this. I'm the same as Sammy. I don't see Sammy as a world champion either.
I think it could suddenly reignite, but his moment was against Roman
2 years ago.
And the thing with that is, I say that it might be that Sammy isn't that guy because in that reign of Romans, Drew was definitely the guy. Jay was definitely the guy. Sammy was definitely the guy. And actually, none of them were because it was actually just Roman doing such good work that you were just so supportive of whoever.
Yeah.
And that moment was, storyline-wise, that was Sami Zayn's moment. But after, the reason why Sami Zayn was so good was that, well, we shouldn't do this, Roman, and then I've turned on you. But he was the guy that was like the jokey guy. Oh, I've just done this big thing. But after that, he turned serious. And he isn't any fun when he's serious.
No.
And his stock has never been lower. This stuff with Cross has put his level.
Okay, so in the last 24 hours, suddenly it's like, Karrion Kross, it might be a work. Karrion Kross has been offered a new deal. It's like, well, obviously, if they're putting this guy on pay-per-views, when the complaint has been he hasn't been on pay-per-views for 3 years. Go on, Gav.
I was going to say, I think I put it in the chat. They done it to R-Truth.
Well, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
You know?
Yeah.
So they could have probably, if...
they did it with Jinder.
Yeah.
They put him on... I don't get it. Is it that they're like, well, we like you as a person, so we'll give you this one rub to get some indie bookings?
Yeah.
I have to say this, that during Roman Reigns' reign of terror, if Sami Zayn was the guy, Drew McIntyre was the guy, Jey Uso was the guy, and all of these people were the guys, but not as big of a guy as Roman Reigns, I must remind you all that Cody Rhodes was also one of the victims of Roman Reigns, but he did fairly well for himself. Jey Uso also did fairly well for himself. Drew McIntyre as well did fairly well for himself, I would say. So it's not that it's not possible. It is very much doable.
Right.
To say that Sami Zayn had his moment 2 years ago and it cannot be reignited, absolutely it can be. If they want it to be, they will do it.
Yes, I think it will take a quite monumental run between now and, let's say, the Rumble, which is in Saudi, which I could see them booking him to win. But in terms of the momentum, they've got an awful lot of catching up to do.
I'll tell
It can
you
be
this
done,
much.
and Sammy's the guy. Like, I think he's talented enough that he can.
Oh
I'll
yeah,
tell you this
don't
much.
get me wrong.
I
think he's
don't
very
see
talented.
Sami Zayn. I don't see Sami Zayn winning in Saudi Arabia, though, because even though he is Arab, he is of Syrian descent, and there's some politics going on between Syria and Saudi Arabia.
Right.
So I don't think Sami Zayn should be the one winning there, because the government is not really going to like it. The kings and the queens, there are no queens, but kings.
But there was, so obviously he was specifically kept off of those shows. But I think
Yeah.
over the last, is it 2 years?
Yeah.
Now he
Yeah.
has been there, and he has had a really good reception there.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Reception is
If
going
you're
to be
saying that
good because
politics-wise, it's
the,
a step too far,
the
maybe.
reception is going to be good because he is still an Arab, but he is of Syrian descent. So
Mhm.
I don't see him winning the world title there. But if it needs to, he needs a Rumble win desperately, because if he wins the Rumble, he can definitely go on to do great things.
If they can
So
heat Jey Uso up between a Rumble and a Mania title win, then they can do it with anybody.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's begin to work towards. I'm just checking to see if there's any. Sorry, go on.
What's your feeling about Jade and Tiff? Or we not?
We said beforehand that it was kind of a nothing
cold.
match.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt that as it played out. So I'm just trying to see whether I actually wrote it. I put clunky, mercifully short, and I thought it was the right result. I think Jade's been around long enough now that do we start calling it a failed experiment? Because I'm watching every Jade match thinking, is anything going to go wrong? Is there going to be an immersion breaking miss here or a botch there? Like,
so I'm here wondering if they're booking her right. Because
What the fuck are you guys talking about? Even I don't even know who these people are that you are talking about.
Okay, Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill.
Oh, now I get it. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. So I was thinking, like in AEW, obviously she was put over.
They booked her right.
That's how she should be booked.
Yeah.
She should be booked like a Goldberg.
Yes, I agree.
I think WWE is trying to make her something that she's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and like speaking to like my cousin, he actually made a good point. She's trying to be Storm, which is so 80s, 90s. She probably needs to change character.
No. There's a reason she's doing that.
I know she used to cosplay.
Disney are making an X-Men film soon. She wants that.
She's playing the long game.
She wants that fan casting. She wants to get into people.
Oh yeah, I know that.
To be fair though, like if you watch her promos, like I don't buy it. I don't engage with the character she's portraying.
Yes, yeah. I think she needs something else, but she should be a squash.
Yeah, no, I agree. So literally it should just be that she comes out, she looks $1 million, she squashes someone, and that she's got the size where it can be that I'm somewhat unstoppable, and then they have someone, wow, they beat Jade. That hardly anyone does that. But they've had her from the beginning trying to be that, because like remember when Triple H, was it a dig at her? Was it a dig at AEW? It's like, well, she can't help it. You know, she didn't get the good training. And so then it's like, so then they kept her off TV and everyone's like, oh, they've lost faith in her immediately. Yeah. They brought her in, made her a tag team with Bianca, and that was fine. And then the story was there for months. Now, obviously, they wanted the end of Evolution to have the cash in with Naomi. But it's like, hang on, you've just cashed in and won the wrong world title, because all Jade needed to do was squash Tiff, then Naomi cash in, take the title, and then Jade could stand there and be like, you know, I was the world champion and I will be world champion again. And you put her in short matches.
Exactly.
That's all it needed to be.
And the thing is, what she needs to be now is a heel. She needs the heel run.
Yeah.
She's not a face.
She was always a heel in AEW, right?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting as well. Like what I don't know if you guys have seen Unreal. That's all the episodes dropped just last week.
Yeah.
I thought it was really telling watching Jade and Triple H talking through the match, because he was talking to her a lot more sort of nuts and bolts, like, this is what we're going to do, this is what you need to do, this is how you need to do it, than he did with anybody else, which I think, you know, Unreal is fairly unreal, as I think Dave put in our group chat. But I think it was telling that even in that kind of staged reality TV setting, he was essentially saying, don't forget to do this, and don't forget to do this and this.
Yeah.
So I think, it's not connecting at the moment for me.
Guys, remember the time when anybody used to come in, they used to go through the developmental territory, which is called the NXT, and then they used to. I mean, guys like Nakamura have been there. Guys like Finn Balor have been there. They've been through the developmental thing, the whole deal, except for AJ Styles, because why would AJ Styles need development? But so the point is, if I was going to bring in Jade Cargill, okay, I would give her a WWE tryout first, not even put her in developmental. I would give her a tryout and then put put her in developmental if she qualifies, because the things that I've seen her do in the ring, it is just wrong. Okay, so
fairness to her, was she the first one from AEW that jumped ship? Like, maybe Punk left, but like, she was right at the very beginning of people that jumped ship. And it's like, wow, we've just taken your undefeated TBS champion. And so to give her a tryout, it's like, she wouldn't have taken it. She'd have been like, no, I'll stay in my TV show contract, whatever. So they could have put her to NXT, but the thing with her presentation, her entrance and everything in AEW, which they've still got, she still has the same entrance and everything, is she looks like a star. And if putting her on NXT would have just, what she needed is basically to spend her weeks at the Performance Center and then have, like probably Logan Paul has had, very scripted matches. And that might be what we saw with Triple H. We're going to show the absolute best of you whilst you're still, because if you're green and whatever, whilst we're getting you up to standard, but keep the matches short. It is the Goldberg run. That's what she was compared to. That's what the run was, undefeated streak. And that's what she still should have had. But the last point I'll make on this is the problem is developmental NXT is on TV.
Yeah.
And even what have they got now with the thing with
LFG, is it?
LFG,
yeah, Jesus, that's still on TV.
Yeah.
It's like, this is where they had OVW in the past, or Smoky Mountain, or Florida Championship Wrestling, or wherever, that they would have people where they might be on a little regional TV show.
Right.
But when you look at it and you think, well, OVW, it produced Randy Orton and John Cena and Brock Lesnar and Batista at the same time. It's like, well, that's the formula you need to follow. Whereas if you have NXT and the pressure of it being when it was up against AEW, and even though it isn't head to head, it's still what is mostly compared to the ratings of NXT versus AEW. And so that's why you'll suddenly have like the Undertaker in the ring doing angles, and great that they're being in the ring. But it's like, you need to let them make mistakes and find their character.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think we spoke about this a few months ago, like, how many people, other than, like, you could say Seth or certain people, but how many people did NXT create that then thrived, and how many kind of fumbled as soon as, when you get, like, the Adam Roses or like countless other examples of people like Alistair Black, or people that you bring them up. Ciampa, they brought up, but Ciampa was like the main event of NXT
Yeah.
just before WrestleMania. Then they call him up, and he's just a job guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's because you need people to turn into to get an aura around them before you bring them onto the main television stage.
Getting to that point, right? And we was talking about Jade. Tiff.
Yeah.
Like, what now for her?
I don't know. I'm bored of her, to be honest.
I am as well. And the thing is, she's clunky as well. And
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's true.
in fact, the SmackDown roster with women is pretty slim pickings. So do we then put the title on Chelsea? Is it? She probably the best one, I think.
I would say,
character.
and I just had this thought over the last couple of days, I would draft. I don't know if they're doing a draft anytime soon. That'll be a whole other episode of Slam Jam, I'm sure, for us to talk through all that. But
Yeah.
I would switch Lyra to SmackDown and immediately put her on that level. And like, I think this program with Becky has built her enough. She can't challenge for that title anymore. SmackDown, as you said, Gav, is like so thin on the ground.
Yeah.
I would put Lyra over there and have her in a feud with Tiffy.
But do you think Lyra is ready for that?
I'd like to see them try. I'd like to see them try.
I haven't
see-
sold on Lyra at all.
Guys, I'm sorry to suddenly cut off. I've suddenly realised that Extreme Improv was meant to start 3 minutes ago.
Oh,
So I didn't realise. My bad. So if we can...
Nobody gives a fuck about Extreme Improv. Okay.
Screw you, Assad. You can go back to your broom closet where you're hiding, speaking on. Come on, you bring your face onto the screen and say that. And then we'll
Improv
talk.
is the worst thing. Improv is the fakest thing. It is even faker than wrestling, okay?
Yes, I
Improv
know,
is-
but we admit to it. Right. Okay, good. So anyway, after just slamming my whole brand there, Assad, where can people find you?
In the dark.
Yeah.
You can find me on Asad Khan Comedy, where I do a lot of other improv stuff. You can find me there.
Yeah. What about your improv stuff? Yeah, fantastic.
No, I
Ian,
also do some extreme improv stuff. I really love that show. Good show, guys. Definitely tune in.
You've only been on a couple of hundred episodes yourself, right? Ian, where can the people find you?
You can find me right here next time.
Awesome, Gav.
You'll find me here sometime.
Okay,
I'm away
Right.
for a couple of weeks, but yeah, I'll be back anyway.
awesome. So,
Fighting
I'm David Stansky. You're about to find me on Extreme Improv, guys. So, with that, until next time, stay safe, stay extreme, always keep slamming and jamming, you slam jam bromies, and boom, we're off the air.
Yeah.